Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, May 18th, 2025. It is about 11:48 a.m. That is 11:48 a.m. Pacific time. And yeah, this is kind of a different kind of, I guess you could say, vlog update, if you will, as to what's going on and everything. But yeah, this month is kind of like really interesting, if you will. As I alluded to in the on-camera one that I did the other day, or actually not the other day, but yesterday, as a matter of fact, I believe, as I double check. Yeah, it was yesterday. Oh, not yesterday. When was it? Oh, it was Friday. It was Friday. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. Sorry. But anyway, it felt like it was yesterday, but yeah, it was on the 16th I did it. But I did allude to the fact that things have been kind of like a little, as I said, a little different, a little, I guess you could say out there, unusual, like, unexpected, but should be expected kind of stuff. It's just one of those situations to where you're like, okay, what is going on here, right? You're like, what is going on here? And basically, as I said in the on-camera video, the matriarch of our family, they basically within a month's time has taken several days off. One time was because we spent Easter with family, and they knew we were going to get home late or leave the family's residence late and everything. So they took the following Monday off, and then of course they did it recently was Mother's Day as well. But what's interesting though is, as I said in the on-camera video, a week prior to that, on a Tuesday, they came back home, not because of the fact that there was no work. The work always has work, let's put it that way. But basically what happened is that there was a major accident on the freeway, as they were heading out. And basically, according to outlets and, AIs and apps and all that, like Google Maps and so on, it would have taken them probably up to about almost 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock just to get to work. So they figured, I'm not going to do that. They contacted the job, told them what was going on. They also found out that another worker was late or was going to be late and was going to make that decision too, but they decided to, head to work because, well, I guess their area was clearing up a lot quicker, but they were going to be late anyway, and they were. The matriarch, if you will, decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just, because they go further. They come from where we are here in, Newman and Patterson and Modesto, so they go a lot further. So they decided, I'm not going to deal with that. They, like I said, they contacted the job and said, hey, I'm going to use my vacation time, take time off, and, stay home. And then, this past week, it happened again. Now, what I mean by happened again, this is what I'm alluding to, guys. This is what I'm alluding to, all right? So, like I said, on Monday, they took, that day off. They requested that day off because Mother's Day, and they didn't want to, go back to work the next day because they knew we'd get in late. Now, that's understandable. That's understandable. But what's interesting, though, is what happened on Wednesday. And like I said on the on-camera video, basically they ended up, because they kind of alluded to this on Tuesday, and they were going to try to hold off at least to the weekend. But, they couldn't hold off any longer because they said, the I guess you could say the brakes or whatever it was, essentially, were wearing down. Like anytime they would turn, they'd hear this, and all that. And it turned out to be metal on metal. Basically, they said they had never had, brake work done on the vehicle since they got it, and that was basically like almost 10 years ago. Almost. It feels like it's longer, but I got to double check. But anyway, what happened, like I said, is they said that they never got work on it. And I kind of told them maybe it's because of the fact that it's wear and tear. And the way it sounds like, the way the mechanic, for what they told me and everybody else, is the mechanic basically said that it was metal on metal and everything, that these needed to be taken care of. So what happened is he put like a temporary, replacement on there. Like, they were decent parts that would, get them back and forth to their job on Friday because they need to be there on Friday due to lack of workers and all that. So basically, long story short, they took Thursday off because they didn't want to chance the fact that if they were traveling on the freeway to get to their job, they would, end up getting stuck, halfway there. So anyway, they stayed home Thursday. They came, they stayed home Thursday. They got the car temporarily fixed and everything. Went to work Friday, and then took the car in yesterday, from what they told me, and waited most of the day until they got it back because the new parts that the mechanic was bringing in, he was hoping to get them in on Thursday and everything, but that didn't happen because they were not going to be in until, Friday. So basically, long story short, they went in there on Saturday and essentially got everything taken care of. But that's not the only thing that's making this month unusual, or at least the month's time frame from Easter till now kind of unusual. It's what's going to be happening within the next week or so. Now, what's interesting for me is yesterday I ended up getting a phone call from Western Dental where I get my teeth taken care of. I'm supposed to get my new teeth and all that. Well, I'm going to have to wait a little longer potentially to get those new implants in, because what happened is I get this phone call. I didn't recognize it at first because, they didn't say Western Dental on it. It just, said a number. So I got to put that into the contacts, for future reference. But anyway, I get this call and it says out of Turlock, and I'm thinking, at first, the only thing I know out of Turlock is Western Dental, but I wasn't too sure, because you get these phone calls and they could be spam and all that, robocalls and everything. Well, anyway, I find out because they left a message. They left a message that the dentist, the doctor dentist, if you will, that did the extraction and the bone graft. Originally, I was supposed to, see him on this Friday, for basically an update, a checkup, and more potentially get, some of the teeth in. Well, I found out through the message that they gave me that he had to reschedule till the 30th. He's not going to be there till the 30th. And my assumption, when I thought about it later, is because of the reason that I had to reschedule that rescheduling. Because you see, what happened is they rescheduled me for the same time, noon, and on May 30th, a week later. Unfortunately, that's not going to work. Unfortunately, that's not going to work because on May 30th, that's when my third oldest nephew, my third oldest nephew is going to be graduating high school in Modesto. He's going to be graduating high school that day, or at least that evening. And basically my ride is not, particularly, we'll get a little tongue-tied here. But like I said, my ride, almost had a brain fart there too, but my ride would not particularly be fond of that. So what I had to do is I had to call up Western Dental and, tell them I did get the message, but also tell them, look, I appreciate the rescheduling, but that's not going to work because I have my nephew graduating that day. And they said, hey, no problem. Well, we'll see what we can do. I asked them when he would be back in there, and they said he'll be back in there in June, on June 23rd. And they said, is that good for you? And I said, yeah, no problem. That's good. That's cool. So basically, they scheduled me essentially a month out from when I was originally supposed to go back in. And when I told my family that, I told my, family member that gives me the ride over there, my niece, if you will. When I told them that, basically, they're like, yeah, I see that works out better. Because basically we're all going to be rushing if we do that. That's not going to work. But anyway, basically, I let them know it got rescheduled, everything's cool, and that come Monday, June 23rd, I should be good to go, maybe to potentially get the implants in there as well. And what this does as well, from a timetable perspective, and I was discussing when I told them about it, is it allow, and I was even mentioning it a bit to the lady from Western Dental that I talked to. I don't know what she said in return, but basically, long story short, I told my family that what that does is it allows my gums to heal up even more. Because of the fact that, they had to have the bone grafts put in them and everything, it allows them to heal up even more. Because if I would have gone in on, on Friday, that would have been basically 5 days, not 5 days, but it would have been 5 days, I think, from a month. It would have been only like 25 days out of, 1 month, if you know what I mean. So essentially, what it does is it gives me a little bit more time because what I'm going into that right now is my third week and everything. And basically, when you look up online of like how long it takes, and all this and all that, implants and, getting put in and all that, it all depends, first of all, of how major the surgery was and whether or not you could get the implants in, within the next visit or whatever. So what this does in turn, is instead of giving me 3 weeks, to, prepare for a potential implant of the teeth and all that, what it does is it allows me to have more time because basically, like I said, this will be the third week. Next week will be my fourth week. And then, come the first week in June, that will be my fifth week. And then the second week will be my 6th week. And they usually say after 6 weeks, you can go back and do introducing firmer foods and all that because the areas should be healed up more so than ever before. Basically, you should be back to normal by that time frame. And then I look at the fact that, okay, June 9th would be the 6th week, and then basically the 7th week will be the 16th. So by the time I go back on the 23rd, it'll essentially be about 8 weeks, so 2 months. So basically it'll be a 2-month healing process. And the way my gums heal, the way, I've been told by the people there, my oral hygiene's good. The teeth I still have are strong. So I should be pretty much potentially, this is just me, potentially on the verge of getting the teeth put in there. And I think that's a blessing in disguise. Now, you might say, well, if you had a bone graft and everything, it shouldn't, Google and all of them say otherwise. Yeah, they do. But here's the thing, though. When I looked up the information and everything as to, what's, the difference between like a major tooth extraction and bone graft and a minor one, small one, basically a minor one and a small one, not only does it heal faster, especially if it's in different areas, but it also allows you to get back to your normal, your normal way of life later on. Later on and everything. It allows you to get back to that normal way of life later on. So to me, like I said, it's a blessing in disguise because, I'm already, believe it or not, I'm already getting into normalcy, if you will, with my teeth. I'm already getting back into that. I'm already drinking soda again, little by little, moderation, if you will. I'm back to drinking orange juice and everything. I haven't done any cereal yet. I have done oatmeal and all that, and I can do cereal, but I'd have to let it sog a little bit because, it's kind of crunchy. You don't want to take that chance. But, I'm getting back into the more firmer foods. I could feel it. I could feel I could feel the effects, not negatively, but I could feel, that, I could feel the firmness again. And, it's not an issue. It's not an issue because one thing they do recommend you do once you run out of the prescription medication they give you is to always make sure you have similar medication on you. So that way, if there's any kind of throbbing or pain or anything like that, you can use that medication to kind of ease it, numb it, if you will. And yeah, there's going to be some pain and stuff with the bones and everything integrating with the bone graft. so that come the 23rd of June, like I said, I should be ready to go. But we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens on that day. We'll see what happens on that day. Because again, Google will come out, with all these different answers from all these different dental places and say otherwise. But I think when it comes to the smaller grafts and all that, the smaller bone grafts and tooth extractions, it's a little bit more different because again, the way they made it sound, and I think I've mentioned this before, the way they made it sound is that upon my next visit, I should be able to get my teeth, pretty much implanted in there, and ready to go. So that's going to be interesting. So that's going to, hopefully happen on the next visit, because they have it on record as to, what needs to be done. They took x-rays both times I went, and they took x-rays every time they did like a bone graft and all that. So it essentially told me when they did that I'm going to probably, be getting, the teeth in there, hopefully before the 4th of July. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll see. But yeah, that's what's going on there. And then, like I said, along with the fact that, essentially, this month, so far within a month's time frame from Easter to now, it's been kind of unusual and everything, kind of like expected, unexpected. To me, it's just a sign of the times too. Like, I have this belief, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that has this kind of belief. But I have this belief that God sends signs in his own way to those that need to see them. And I think basically the matriarch, if you will, of our family is essentially getting these signs. That's my belief. She's getting these little signs here and there that basically they need to kind of, step away. They need to step down and everything as time goes on. But again, that's just my belief. I feel it. I see it and everything. But only God knows what's in store for my family, for me, the matriarch, my siblings, and all that. Only He knows what's going to be in front of us in the future. And again, like I said, with my rescheduling of the tooth extraction and bone graft, that's probably a blessing in disguise. I do apologize for that vibration. That's a text message. I'm recording this on my phone. But like I said, the rescheduling to the 23rd of June is a blessing in disguise and all that because, again, it allows my gums and all that to heal up and, heal up properly enough to just, be prepared for, the potential implanting of the teeth. And then that's going to be a nice struggle on its own right because, well, not struggle, but, adjustment, if you will, because just like with the bone grafting, the tooth extraction and bone grafting, I'm going to have to be careful at least for a couple of weeks going into the 4th of July because I got to let the teeth settle in, integrate, and all that. And I think if they give me any medication, it'll be a little longer, maybe with refills because of the changing of dynamics and all that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, as far as, like I said, the channel goes, everything I've mentioned about, the upcoming excuse me, the graduation and all that that's occurring on the 30th and everything that's happened beforehand. Well, yeah, things are definitely going to be changing, especially as we get into June, because I'm assuming, I don't know, I don't have clarification yet, but I'm assuming around Friday the 13th. Yeah, believe it or not, that's the day. Friday the 13th. That's when the whole, and again, this is for some of you, and this is again for a lot of you that have been following my channel for a long time. June 13th is when the whole summer break situation starts. And again, for a lot of you that have been following my channel for a long time, since it began or recently or whenever, you all know basically what that means during, during the summer break and everything, especially, it's just like Christmas break, just like spring break and all that, and the federal holidays. Things change. They do. Things change to where you have to I have to readjust how I do my content and everything, when I can do it and all that. Basically get the opportunities like I have now on the Sunday to be able to record, content or create content for you guys, for the channel and everything. So that's the plan right there. And I might basically take a page out of a playbook that I've, done before, and that is record some content, with a game content or whatever, and then schedule it for, a couple of weeks, a couple of weeks during the summer break and all that. But I don't have to worry about that until at least the 13th of June. But like I said, the 30th of this month, that's going to be a change, but for a good reason. And then the Monday before that, which is Memorial Day, that's going to be a change as well. But again, it's Memorial Day. You can't do really much about that. But I will say this, that for content-wise, though, for you guys, besides this and some other things, I am going to be doing a package opening, hopefully come Tuesday, if things work out correctly and financially. The package opening basically will be something that I've been thinking about and all that outside of what I got recently, which was the MetaQuest 3S. This, however, will allow me to do my work, content creation-wise and everything, even on my television. Yeah. Basically, what I'm going to be getting is what's known as a mini PC. I'm not going to say which one it is, but it's supposed to be one of the better kinds, at an affordable price. So I'm going to be getting a mini PC, and I might look into getting another one, down the line after that. So that way I have two, to, have content on, and not content, but have, stuff on, so I can use one instead of the other and everything. And what it'll allow my laptop to do as well is it'll allow it to cool off for a bit, kind of, be at ease, if you will, because what happened recently, and this is the second time it's happened, well, actually the third time I should say, and I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but basically my computer was getting a little slow at times, when it would, do stuff. And I started noticing it getting a little slow when it would basically, not like move the page well, the mouse wouldn't move well. And when I would look to the side and everything, I'm thinking, okay, the reason it's not moving or working well is because it's loading. Well, when I noticed that it's not doing that and everything, but the LED light's not flashing to indicate it's loading, when it's not flashing, but the thing's slow, that kind of tells me it's about to crash. And it does. And I had to basically follow instructions I found before until I had to hard reset it. What I had to do is I had to turn it off, hard turn off, unplug everything, unplug all the USB stuff, and then turn it back on, and then let it build itself back up. So I had to do that, and basically I did it twice a couple of days ago, because when it got to the welcome screen and everything, it was just taking too long and too long and too long. And I'm thinking, okay, I got to do something about it. So I turned it off again, unplugged the Ethernet cable, if you will, to see if that worked. It didn't. I had to plug it back in, and then it did properly, get into what it was doing. But it does help a little bit when you do unplug a lot of stuff, whether or not you're using Wi-Fi or not. It does help, because what it does is it basically allows you to, get it booted back up faster than normal. Now, I've had my computer since about, 2016, I think. 2016, 15, something like that. Almost 10 years. So, yeah, it's been a while. And just have to, hope for the best, just hope for the best. I pray over it a lot and everything. And it still works. It still does work. I just think what it needs to do is rest, because I notice when I do turn it off, I do turn it off and let it rest. And then when I turn it back on, it works properly and all that. So I think it's basically in need of a rest real soon. And if things hold off until at least Tuesday, which is when I plan to do the package opening for this mini PC, things should be okay. But we'll see. We'll see what they have planned up the road and everything. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here, give you this bit of an audio vlog and everything. to let you know what's going on, what's been happening. Also, a bit of a channel update, if you will, for what's upcoming and everything and how that's going to affect stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what's happening. You may have noticed that the video I put up talking about the 57th page of Sabrina Online, you may have noticed that it was a little different in the beginning with the title being on the image itself. That's because I was using what's known as U-Cut on my phone, and I now also have Power Director on my phone as well. And I'm doing that for one, for one main reason, because I'm thinking that mainly one of the reasons my computer kind of slows down a little bit is because I do a little too much here and there. So I want to give it a bit of a hardware-ish break, if you will. Like, it's still going to do its job and all that when I need it, like it did its job yesterday for my EDD, thank God. But I'm going to give it a bit of a hardware-ish break, if you will, when it comes to everything else. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know what's going on and all that. And again, thank you all for your prayers and all that when it comes to my teeth healing, or my healing recovery from the tooth extraction and bone grafting. The healing's doing good at times. I mean, there are times I will say that when I do brush, or not brush, but when I do eat, sometimes if it hits the gum at time, it will bleed a bit. But it's not doing it that much anymore, and I think that's mainly because of the fact that it doesn't have the white membrane anymore. It doesn't have the white membrane blood cell thing, if you will, anymore. Which is, when it comes out, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's just something that is part of the process of healing and all that. So anyway, though, like I said, I just wanted to, come on here, let you know what's going on. And again, thank you for your prayers on the recovery and healing of my tooth extraction bone grafting situation. Pray it keeps getting better and all that by the time I get to June 23rd. And also, again, guys, thank you for your support for this channel. In a couple of weeks, guys, believe it or not, it's going to be essentially, I'm looking at the time frame here, it's going to be 2 weeks. That's why it's going to be 2 weeks from this Wednesday. It's going to be 2 weeks from this Wednesday where I will be basically celebrating 17 years on this channel. Now, I might do a live stream, but the way I might do the live stream is through the mini PC if it works that way. So again, guys, thank you all for your support. Really appreciate it and all that. Do me a favor and like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Also, click on the links in the description for my content. Also, you can find me at all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Radio Public, Overcast. And I'm very sure and confident you can probably search and find me through SiriusXM. So try to look for me there as well. Also, guys, check me out at rumble.com at bwroses, odyssey.com at bwroses-5, VENMO.com at bwroses. Also, guys, you can find me over at my Teespring store. I had to do a little readjusting there. Some items I took out and everything, but you'll understand eventually when I pop it back up as to what those items are that are no longer available and everything. So again, just to let you know that that's changed, but check out the Teespring store. It'd be really greatly appreciated if you do. Also, guys, check me out at my Patreon at BW Roses. Got some content under the $3 and $5 tier I think you might enjoy. Also, support me with $1 tip if you want. Also, support me through Cash App and Venmo. It'd be greatly appreciated there, especially with whatever the bill's going to be going forward with the Western Dental and everything. Even though they approved me through some bits for a decent amount that takes care of most of it, it's still going to be payment heading my way and all that down the line. So if you want to help me out in that way, Venmo, Cash App, and Patreon is a good way to go. Also, guys, you can find me at deviantart.com at BVW1979, inkmoney.net at BWRoses. You can also find me at TikTok.com at BWRoses. You can also find me at Twitter, aka X.com at BWRoses. And you can find me, ladies and gentlemen, over at Blue Sky at VW Roses. Also find me over at twitch.tv and over at kick.com. But guys, I just wanted to come on here, let you know what's happening. Give me your thoughts down below. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.